Hello, guys, and welcome back to the team selection video for Game Week 20. We've just done a video for the transfer tips, so do check that out, guys. And yeah, we're back for the team selection. So, we're going to get into it. We're going to recap Game Week 19. And then, as you guys know, we will also go through Game Week 20, discuss all the transfer plans, all the, dilemmas we have, and also we'll talk about captaincy as well. So, let's start off with my team and how my Game Week 19 has gone. I mean, it's not been a great game week. Dubravka annoyingly conceded in the 3-1 loss against Forest, which did come as a surprise to us. Trippier, again, the same, conceded 3. Newcastle do look quite bad right now, in bad form. And having triple Newcastle definitely did not pay off in his fixture in this game week. Porro, however, did pick up an assist, which was, again, very nice in that loss, and he picked up 2 bonus points as well in the 4-2 loss to Brighton. Trent comes away with the 8-pointer after his 3 bonus points and clean sheet, which was nice. Gabriel did concede again. No clean sheet there after the 2-0 loss to West Ham. Nothing really to mention in the midfield, really. I mean, Gordon blanked, Saka blanked, Son got an assist, Salah blanked as well, as he was my captain, so ends up on 6 points. Then up front, Watkins blanked again against Man United. However, Solanke did get another goal. So, up and down, a couple of points on the bench. Areola, 10-pointer, very frustrating. Obviously, getting a clean sheet again against Arsenal and the bonus points as well. So, I wish I played him. But, he's a bit of a troll. 2 weeks now. He's got me big points on the bench. Archer did come away with an assist, I believe. So, 5-pointer there. All in all, it is 39 points for myself for Game Week 19, all out. And is a small red arrow down to 463k, I believe. So that's how my Game Week 19 has gone. Jordan, same for you, please. If you could recap how your Game Week 19 has gone.
Yeah, so start off with obviously Leno. He ended up on 0 points from that 3-0 loss to Bournemouth. So no clean sheet or any points for him for this Game Week 19. Moving on to defense. So we got only really 1 attack return. That is from Trent as well. He only got the clean sheet and a bonus 3 to give him his 8 points. Other than that, you've got Pedro Porro, who also got an attack return as well. Forgot to mention that, which he got an assist in that 4-2 loss over Brighton. So it did come away with some points, Pedro Porro, which is nice for the 5 points. Trippier, obviously, he had the clean sheet work to Nottingham Forest. So he only managed to get 1 point. He did concede more than 2 goals. So that point was taken off. So he ended up on 1. Brantwaite, in that 3-1 loss to Man City and got yellow cards. So he ended up on 0 points. Obviously, no clean sheet for Brantwaite. In the midfield 3, only 1 player returns in the midfield. Salah blanked, as well as Saka. But Hwang did save the midfield with his double haul of 14 points for scoring 2 goals and getting the bonus 3 before going off injured at the 45 minutes in the first half. So he did manage to get 2 goals before his back injury, and Wolves went on to win that 4-1. Moving on to the front 3, so we've got Wissa, who did score against, obviously, Hwang in that 4-1 defeat. So Brentford did score 1 goal, and that came from Wissa, which was nice, and he got a bonus 1 on top of that to give him the 7 points. Alvarez, he got his 8 points from scoring a very controversial penalty given to Man City, and he also got the bonus 2 on top of that to finish him off on 8 points. And obviously my captain this week, Watkins, he did blank in that 3-2 defeat over Man United. So quite a shocking result from Aston Villa, and no attack and return for Watkins in that fixture. Nothing to really say on the bench. All my players were out injured in terms of the midfield and the defence, but only Areola was the playing player, and he's the goalkeeper. And obviously, because Leno plays, he isn't going to come on for those lovely 10 points that he managed to get against Arsenal in that 2-0 win over that. He also got a bonus 2, made a couple of saves, and got the clean sheet, which ended up on 10 points. And overall, this game week was surprisingly good for me. 52 game week points and a massive green arrow. I was on 450k, and I've moved up to 293k. So, yeah, huge swing in terms of rank for game week 19, but overall, a very nice green arrow.
Okay, lovely. So that's how our Game Week 19 did go, guys. Let us know how you did in Game Week 19 as well in the chat. But let's move on to Game Week 20 now. And this is the game week where we will discuss how our boss teams look like, and also look at transfers that we plan to make. So I'll start it off with my team. In goal, I do have Areola starting. I have decided to bench Dubravka this week, and in true Areola fashion, he'll probably go and go and blank and concede, because that's what happens. When you rotate goalies around, you just know Areola's going to concede now. So yeah, he's got Brighton at home. Hopefully, he can get me another clean sheet, but we'll see. And yeah, Dubravka, easy benching for me. He's got Liverpool away, so not really a debate there for me. In the midfield, midfield three. In the defensive three, I should say. I've got Pedro Porro, who's got Bournemouth at home. I've got Trent, who's got Newcastle at home, and I've got Gabriel, who's got Fulham away. I think all in all, I think a lot of us do have this defense. It does seem quite template now with a Porro, Trent, and an Arsenal defender. Happy with the fixtures, fairly. Porro's got a nice fixture at home. Trent, again, home fixture. And I think Gabriel actually has a higher clean sheet odds than most players at this week. So I'm quite happy to go with the defense this week. In the midfield, I've got Gordon, who's got Liverpool away. I've got Saka, who's got Fulham away. I've got Son, who's got Bournemouth at home. I've got Salah, who is my captain, who's got Newcastle at home. And then I've also got Palmer, who's got Luton away. Now, I'll come on to my transfer plans in a sec, but Gordon definitely will not be starting this game because he's got Liverpool away, and I'm not so sure I want to play Gordon against Liverpool, especially with the way Newcastle are looking right now. I'm just not too keen on the assets, really. Saka, he's been a bit frustrating. However, the fixtures is nice, so I'm going to hold on to him and give him a few more weeks. Son, again, last game before Asia Cup, Bournemouth at home. Big loss for Spurs against Brighton, but you'll be looking to bounce back, really. And Son, with the asset he is still consistent, even returning an assist in the loss. So I'm happy to have Son for this game. Salah at home, again, I think he's one of the standout captain picks this week. Do let us know as well in the chat who you're captaining. I've gone Salah because I just think, again, Newcastle have not been too impressed with them. And because it is a home fixture at Anfield, it is Salah's last game as well before he has to go to AFCON. I think he'll want to, sign off on a big win. And yeah, I'm trying to back Liverpool. I think Salah's on penalties. He's been really consistent as well, pretty much so far this season. And yeah, I still think Liverpool should get the job done. I know Newcastle still a good defense. When you look at numbers, Newcastle is a tough fixture per se, but the way they've been playing, I'm just not too keen. And I think Salah still could be a good captaincy option against Newcastle. And then finally, we've got Palmer, who's got Luton away. Now, I'm not too fond of this fixture, Luton away. I think Chelsea could potentially struggle. But Palmer's on penalties. He's cheap. He's back from his suspension, and I am going to play Palmer most likely. Then up front, I've got Watkins and Solanke again. We know Watkins has been a bit frustrating. I think one return in the last 5 matches. However, it's Burnley at home. There's no way I'm selling Watkins. He's been consistent pretty much so far this season. Happy to own him for this game. Solanke's got Tottenham away. Usually, it did look like a tougher fixture for Solanke. However, we've just seen Spurs concede 4 goals to Brighton, and there's no way I'm going to sell Solanke before this. I'm definitely going to play him. So I'm happy to play Solanke against Tottenham away, because Tottenham aren't great defensively. They don't keep many clean sheets either. So there's no reason why Solanke can't return. And on the bench, I've got Dubravka, who's got Liverpool, Trippier, who's got Liverpool, Taylor, who's got Villa, and then Archer, who's got Man City away. And as you guys can see, I do have 2 free transfers after rolling one of them last week. I've also got 2.6 million in the bank. There is a lot of things I could potentially do with my team as well. So initially, after the Game Week 19 ended, the player I was looking at taking out straight away, that, when you look at my team and you look at, who's got the bad fixture, it's Newcastle and Gordon. So Gordon's got Liverpool away. I think he's an easy sell, really. So what my plan is right now, as of now, I am planning to take out Gordon and bring in Jared Bowen of West Ham. Now, that would leave me with 0.8 million in the bank afterwards as well. So I've got the money to do it. And as I said, I've got 2 free transfers. But however, I will roll the second free transfer because I want to bring Haaland back in potentially in Game Week 21. And I need to leave 2 free transfers to find the route to Haaland. Because if I did 2 now, then obviously Haaland, I'll take hits, etc. So Gordon for Bowen is the one I'm looking at right now. Bowen's got Brighton at home. So it's a decent fixture. I know Brighton have just one, but Brighton are leaky at the back. They don't keep many. They haven't kept a single clean sheet, I believe. this whole season. So I'm happy to own Bowen. And I've been impressed with Bowen, as I mentioned in the transfer tips video earlier. He is returning pretty consistently as well for West Ham. And yeah, I do like Bowen as a pick. And that's probably where I'll be going right now. I think Bowen is going to be a popular pick in the next coming weeks. He's got really nice fixtures coming up, 2 or 3 nice green fixtures. And he's been consistent. So yeah, Bowen is the one I'm looking at, guys, for game week 20. The other move I could make as well, just to add a little curveball, instead of bringing in Bowen, what I have also considered doing is taking out Archer and upgrading Archer to Alvarez and then captaining Alvarez as well, potentially. And that would give me a 3-4-3 formation. So I would bench Gordon and play Alvarez instead of Archer, and then potentially captain Alvarez as well. So I am tempted by the Alvarez move as well. The only thing that puts me off the Alvarez move is quite short term, I think, because Haaland's going to be back in game week 21. I'd probably want Haaland back. So I'll have to take Alvarez out, etc., etc. So I like Bowen for the long term, but Alvarez, because he's got that Sheffield at home fixture, is captain worthy as well. But I'm on Salah. I think I'm going to bring Bowen in, but do not be surprised if I sway last minute and do Archer to Alvarez as well. So that's my current plans. Let us know what you guys think as well in the chat. Let us know what you think I should be doing. Would you be doing Gordon to Bowen, or would you rather do Archer to Alvarez and then captain Alvarez? Do let me know, guys. Help us out in the chat. But yeah, that's the current plans. So Jordan, same for you. Talk us through your lineup, your bus team for gaming 20, and then also your transfer plans as well.
Okay, so yeah, this is how my Gameweek 20 team selection looks like going forward. So in goal, we got Ariola, who has Brighton at home. I'm also playing Ariola too because I've got Leno, who's got Arsenal at home. And if I like to see another shock, I don't expect Leno to get a clean sheet or get a mega haul in that fixture. So I'm going to take a risk and play Ariola and see what we can do against Brighton at home. I don't expect a clean sheet either against Brighton, especially the way they played in the last fixture against Spurs. I do see goals, but hopefully Ariola can get some save points, at least from that fixture. Moving on to the back four, though, we got Trent, who has Newcastle at home. I think that's a pretty good, solid fixture for Trent, especially in the form he is in at the moment for Liverpool. I think he's definitely a great transfer in that I brought in last game week, and it has paid off when he got those lovely 8 points, as well as the bonus points on top of that as well. So definitely, especially when Salah goes to AFCON, those bonus points, if obviously Liverpool keep clean sheets, will most likely go to Trent as well, which in addition will be very nice in the long-term run if obviously Liverpool keep these clean sheets up, which I believe they can, especially at Anfield. And with Newcastle at home being the fixture for game week 20, there might be a potential another clean sheet for Trent as well, which would be lovely. And just speaking of obviously Newcastle, Trippier is my next defender who is also playing against Trent in Liverpool away. So yeah, I'm not entirely confident of obviously playing Trippier or having him in my team after that Nottingham Forest defeat at home in their stadium, which I thought usually when we see Newcastle at home, they're pretty formidable and hard to break down, and they literally broke down very quick in that game, which leaves a bit of worries of obviously having Trippier and playing him against Liverpool away, which won't be easy at all in the way Newcastle are currently at the moment. So Trippier could potentially be on the chopping blocks for my transfer plans. You will have to wait and see. Moving on to the next defender, that is Pedro Porro, who has Bournemouth at home. So yeah, I'm happy to play Pedro Porro, getting his attacking return from the last game where Spurs lost 4-2 to Brighton. I still think this is why we brought Pedro Porro in for the worthwhile. It's not a clean sheet. He can still get attacking returns, in which he did get that assist against Brighton. So happily to play Pedro Porro against Bournemouth at home. Again, I don't expect a clean sheet because Spurs' defence is quite a bit vulnerable at times, and the way Bournemouth are playing at the moment, I can see them easily scoring against Spurs, but hopefully Pedro Porro does come up with maybe an attacker return in that fixture. And finally, moving on to the last defender, and that is Branthwaite, who has Wolves away. So yeah, again, Branthwaite doesn't have the best fixture because he does clash with another player in my team, which is Hwang. And yeah, because they both clash, it kind of means that I'm hoping either Branthwaite gets a clean sheet or Hwang gets the goals. But in the position I'm in, I have no replacements for Branthwaite on my bench. I'd have to transfer in a player again because there's no options from the bench as Tsimikas is out, and I can only play 3 defenders and there's not really a midfield to pick from either because Matoma and Decore are both out, and for game week 20 as well. So that does leave me with probably playing Branthwaite, who has Wolves away. Moving on to the midfield three. So we've got Salah, who I'm also captaining this week as well, who's got Newcastle at home. I could change the captaincy, but I've now slided to Salah. I think, as Huss said before his last game, before he goes to AFCON, I think Salah would like to go off with a goal before he obviously goes and leaves Liverpool for a bit for the AFCON competition. And that Newcastle fixture, I think he as well. I do expect goals coming from Liverpool, and Anfield it's very hard to lose for teams to win against Anfield as well. So, yeah, I'm all the more for Salah captaincy. I think it'd be very popular as well, captaincy. There is a lot of other players that there is captain worthy, but I think Salah is one of the best ones to go for. Moving on to the next midfielder, that is Saka, who has Fulham away. Now, I've not really been impressed, as you guys know, from Saka's form so far. It's not been that great, not as what we expected it to be. That Fulham away fixture, I'm not sure what to expect, but I do see Arsenal winning that game. I just don't know whether Saka has that attacking threat in him to score a goal or maybe get an assist. But I think even an assist at this point, again from Saka, it would be nice for him to get the assist, but again, it's not really. Even though he has 8 assists so far this season, it's still a bit lacking those hauls that we saw from him last season for Arsenal, and especially with other Arsenal midfielders as well. But hopefully, Saka could turn his bad run of form around in this fixture. Moving on to the final player, and that is Hwang. And now, just to update people, because obviously Hwang came off after 45 minutes in the last game week in 19 from a back injury. It is now stated from the manager's press conference that Hwang should be, or hopefully should be fine for the Everton at home fixture. He did only have a spasm in his back, so it wasn't as serious as it thought to be for Hwang, because I have noticed a lot of people did transfer out Hwang when he was yellow flag, but his flag has been removed. It's no longer on FPL website anymore. He is now clear from that dreaded yellow flag over his head, and I think there's hopes that he can play for the Everton home fixture, even though it's a very fast turnaround. His spasm in his back isn't as serious, so hopefully he does start in Everton home fixture, which would be very nice, especially for the way I'm planning my transfers for Game 20. But moving on finally to the front three, so we've got Wissa, who has Crystal Palace away. Now, from Wissa's last game, he did score, which was very nice against Wolves. So with Crystal Palace away, who haven't looked that great either, I'm hoping Wissa can get one more goal for me before he goes to AFCON competition. And with him being one of the goal scorers from the Brentford and Wolves game, it does give me high hopes. Hopefully he can provide me with a goal again before he goes off to AFCON. But it is not a bad fixture, I don't think. Brentford aren't looking that great, especially when Mbeumo has been absent as well from the team. It does leave a bit of loose forwards to go with, apart from Wissa, who I went for, and he has got me one goal at least. So hopefully he can obviously equalise on that before he goes away to AFCON. And next next forward we have is Watkins, who has Burnley at home. Now you could probably say with Watkins he is potentially a captaincy worthy for the Burnley at home fixture. I think a lot of people will be put off by the captaincy for Watkins, especially the way that hasn't worked out against Sheffield United and now Man United away. So yeah, back-to-back blanks for Watkins, and a lot of people did captain Watkins for the Sheffield United and even for the Man United game. But for this Burnley at home one, yeah, it should be a fixture where Aston Villa should bounce back in, especially after that loss to Man United. I do think it should be a fixture where they should win and not draw or lose that game. And Watkins hopefully should play a nice part in that by maybe delivering an attack and return, as it's felt like a while since we've seen one from him. And finally, we move on to Alvarez, who's probably the biggest talking point of this game week, who has Sheffield United at home. And yeah, it's not knowing what to expect from this fixture, because we saw with Aston Villa against Sheffield United at home where Watkins was the majority captain and not blanking, and Aston Villa actually, in fact, drew that game as well. On the other hand, though, Man City, they're quite formidable as well. They haven't looked like the same Man City we've seen in previous seasons. But with Alvarez being the main forward and Haaland not featuring in game week 20 either, that does give a lot of pluses to bring Alvarez in if you haven't got him already, or to even captain him this week in that nice fixture against Sheffield United at home, because I'm sure there'll be goals coming from Man City. Hopefully they're coming from obviously Alvarez as well, but he is going to be my vice, I think, for this
Yeah, I'm
game.
surprised. So just to add, obviously you're
Yeah.
an Alvarez owner. Everyone I've seen that has Alvarez in their team is captaining Alvarez. So for an Alvarez owner, it's interesting to see you've captained Salah. Now, how close is it for you between Salah and Alvarez, or for you is it Salah's a standout? Because I am surprised that you've not gone Alvarez captain.
Yeah, I think I've mentioned before, with fixtures that look really nice on paper, it's not necessarily the best one to go for in terms of captaining the player, like for example Alvarez, because Man City will play a high line against Sheffield United, and Sheffield United will pretty much park the bus and defend as much as they can against them, and eventually Man City will break through that defence. I just think that with all the goal scorers for Man City, any goal can come from any player in that team, and that does leave a bit less possible attacking returns for Alvarez in a weird way. Because we did see that against Watkins and Sheffield United, and I kind of see the same for Alvarez as well. I just don't think he is a good captain pick, and you maybe might score in that game, but again, it's one I'm 50-50 on whether I'm really going to set myself on going for Alvarez for Sheffield United. I think I'm more sided now to go with Salah captain. At first, I was keen on Alvarez, especially with the Haaland news, but I think now I'm set on Salah, who has Newcastle at home after rethinking
That's interesting.
Yeah, might completely backfire, but we'll wait and see.
Yeah, let us know in the chat as well, guys, who you captaining as well. I did put a poll up on our Twitter, so not Twitter, on our YouTube actually. So if you haven't done the poll, do drop a comment. Who are you captaining this week? Is it Salah? Is it Watkins? Is it Alvarez? If you've got him, let us know in the chat. But yeah, carry on, Jordan.
And yeah, just that's pretty much the starting 11. And there's not really much to talk about on the bench because a lot of the bench are injured. Tsimikas, Mitoma, and Decore are all out for game at 20, which only needs Leno, who's got Arsenal at home, which I'm deciding not to play. So I'm hoping the starting 11 do all play, and nothing surprising happens. But onto the transfer plans. So I've got 1.5 million in the bank with one free transfer on me. So the plans are going forward, because of that Hwang news, it has changed my plans, because I was afraid that Hwang wasn't going to be available for the Everton at home fixture, which now, after the press conference, it's looking like he might be. So that does give me the position to actually change my plans, and I have now decided to use my one free transfer to take out Trippier. Because obviously, with the fixture Trippier has, he's playing against Liverpool, and because I have Salah and Trent, I do expect Liverpool to keep a clean sheet potentially against Newcastle. And I expect Salah to score as well, especially as my captain. It kind of makes sense. And even if Trippier gets an attack and return, I don't expect a clean sheet at all. So when Newcastle are playing, I don't expect anything from Trippier. I think he's lost a lot of confidence in the past games and has made a few mistakes here and there. So he will be my transfer out, I think, for game week 20. And the player I'm deciding to bring in for game week 20 for him is going to be Estupiñán for Brighton. He's got West Ham away. It could be an interesting fixture, maybe a few goals here and there for Brighton. But I think with Estupiñán coming into that last game against Spurs, only playing 45 minutes or in that football game and scoring one of the goals for Brighton, and it looked like it was a massive turnaround for Brighton the way they were playing as well, with the introduction of Estupiñán back in the team, which is nice, I think, at this moment where Brighton fixtures are really good. In terms of long term, I think Estupiñán is a steal, especially when we want to look for other defenders to go for. He may not get you clean sheets because Brighton haven't get the clean sheet this season. That might change with Estupiñán back in the team, but I brought him in mostly for the attacking threat, which he then showed against Tottenham when he only played 45 minutes in that game. So West Ham away, I'll see what he can do, but for the long term plan, he will be in my team, I think, regardless. And that 4.9 million, he is expected to rise, I believe tonight, to 5 million. So yeah, I think either I bring him in cheaper now before he gets more expensive, because I do expect a lot of people bringing him in, especially after him scoring that goal against Spurs. So yeah, this is how I'm lining up for game week 20. going for the back four with the 3 in the midfield and 3 up front. And that does leave me with 3.3 million in the bank as well. So a lot of money to use.
Yeah, I was just
elsewhere.
gonna actually say something on regards to your team as well. Something that just popped up in my head. So,
Yeah.
because just looking at your team, what if, just a suggestion, could you
Yeah.
do something like you keep Trippier and bench him this week, and play 3 defenders, but you do Mitoma out to another midfielder? Have you thought about doing that, and then you bench Trippier because you're gonna wild card anyway, most likely next week?
Yeah.
Rather than getting a defender in who may concede, who probably will concede, and you're relying on the attacking threat, which the low. I mean, there's a chance,
Yeah.
but could you do Mitoma to like a Foden, or take an interesting 1 week punt in midfield? Someone's just got a good fixture. Well, I think I would probably rather go down that route, because you don't need to really bring Estupinian in my opinion, right now, because you're going to wildcard him in anyway. He sort of
Yeah.
dead in your team.
Yeah, that is very true. I mean, I could go with another midfielder because I only have 3 going forward into game week 20, which seems a bit empty, I think, because most of us will have 4 or 5. And yeah, I have thought about considering not making a defender transfer, especially when I am going wild card in game week 21 anyway, and Estupinian will be on my team regardless. Yeah, it is something I probably would consider as well. That is actually a good shout to go for another midfielder, because there is a lot of money as well to use it on.
Who can you get to though? Like, if we go to your team, if you go on the FPL site, for example, because I was just thinking, rather than bringing in a defender who's probably going to concede, because you are relying on him
Yeah.
to get an assist or a goal, because I don't think they'll keep a clean sheet against West Ham. Could you go to Mitoma, to someone interesting, someone that no one has, that might get you a big rank gainer?
Well, it does leave me with 8 million in the bank.
Yes, you can get to anyone. You can get to Bowen for a
Yeah.
week. You can get to Foden and have double Man City against Sheffield.
Yeah, there is Bowen or Foden as options. Maybe Foden because he's more of a differential, because his ownership is only, well, it's actually 13%, which I'm actually surprised it's that high. But yeah, there could be alternatives. They go for 1 week punt. There isn't much. Well, there is
There's
kind of
Bernardo as well. Bernardo Silva, if you want to stay on Man City, obviously he got a goal. Bowen, even someone like Bruno Fernandes. I mean, actually, you can't go to Bruno, can you? He's too expensive. But someone that no one really has, last 1 week punt before you wild card. If he doesn't work out, you've got the wild card in the back pocket anyway. So yeah, I'd rather potentially do a forward thinking move than rather the defensive move, especially for a Brighton defender.
Yeah, that's very true. In the way Brighton haven't kept the clean sheet at all this season, that you might see me on the deadline stream. Obviously, change the plans for that, because that is another route to go down, I think.
Okay, so I mean that's the plan. Obviously, Jordan looking at potentially bringing in Estupinian. He might go for a midfielder as well, which probably we'll have to tune in tomorrow. So do tune in tomorrow at 10 a.m. UK time for to see what actually moves Jordan does make, because he could make a midfielder transfer. I could bring in Alvarez and captain Alvarez. Not sure yet. I don't know why I'm getting Alvarez FOMO, but we'll see. Just take a few comments. Yemex Huss, you can bring in Allison for Dubravka. You have enough money. Yeah, I do have enough money, but I don't want to spend that much money on a goalkeeper, if I'm being honest, because I just think it will lock me out of moves I want to make. Similar to what Trippier's kind of been a problem for me, because he's just taking up too much money. Want to get rid of Trippier so bad, but don't have the funds for Trent. Pranav says, hey, Huss and Jordan.
Hey, Pranav.
The moment I remove Trippier or Darwin, they're going to score. Yeah, that's what usually happens in FPL. But yeah, I'm not a fan of Trippier for the next 3. In terms of Darwin, I do expect Darwin to start against Newcastle at home. And you could look at a 50-50. Some people will look at it thinking, he's just he scored a really nice goal against Burnley. But he's got Newcastle, and obviously we did see early on in the season he got nice 2 goals against Newcastle, didn't he, in the away win?
Yeah.
So Darwin could go either way. If we can get to Darwin to Alvarez, I probably would do it, but I also wouldn't want to sell Darwin. As you guys know, I just think he's one of those players that couldn't just pop off any minute. And if you've got him, I would maybe side to keeping him. Saka, Paul, is Nkunku a better selection? I don't know what comment that's in regards to.
For forward, maybe Archer in your team.
Yeah. I mean, for me, not yet. I just think there's other strikers. Watkins. There's Solanke. There's Alvarez. There's Darwin, who I'd prefer over Nkunku right now. So yeah, not for me. Bowen is probably the best option for you, Haas. Yeah, I mean, Bowen is the one I'm thinking I'm going to side towards. But Bowen or Alvarez, one of them is coming in for sure. Your team value is insane. You can pretty much get anyone you want. Yeah, my team value has improved quite a lot. It's because I've been going early on transfers. So
Yeah.
I do a lot of my transfers. It is a risk. I normally wouldn't recommend it, but I'm thinking to myself, if I know that's the player exactly I want, I'm gonna do it and get the price rise. It's risky, but it's do it at your own discretion, guys. But I don't mind bringing in a player early just to catch a price rise because team value is still very important to this game. I know content creators, like one thing I've realized, content creators usually say, "Oh, don't worry about the price rise and stuff. Like, it doesn't really matter." I don't buy that personally. I'm one of the content creators that will tell you price rises definitely matter, and there will come a point in the season where you'll want a player. It's happened to me loads of times. I'm 0.1 off, I'm 0.2 off, and I think, I should just go and get the player. If I know that's the player I want, I'm going to do it anyway. SJ, hi all. Probably Salah captain. Dan says Salah captain. Texas coach says Salah, even though I have Alvarez. Are you surprised with the Salah? Obviously, in terms of Texaco, is doing the same as you. Are you surprised, or you think Salah is the standout?
Yeah, I still think Salah is a standout. I mean, we've seen Liverpool at Anfield and Newcastle as well. The fixture that they have against Liverpool, not great for Newcastle. I think they'll struggle a lot. I think Liverpool will be pretty much all over them in that game, and it gives a lot of opportunity for Salah to get his whatever he gets from that game before he goes to AFCON. So I say it's last chance saloon to get the most out of Salah after we transfer him out.
Trent captain differential. I like that, Neil. I like that definitely. Alvarez or Watkins. I mean, is that for captaincy? If it's captaincy, then I prefer Alvarez over Watkins for sure. We've covered some of we spoke about your transfers. Comment here. I have Salah, Son, Trent, Watkins, Solanke, and Alvarez on my first 11. Currently 320k. And although I consider the differential captaincy on Alvarez to chase rank, I think Salah is the safer option. So yeah, it does seem even Alvarez owners then are going Salah. So maybe it's a Twitter thing. Obviously, from what I've seen on Twitter, a lot of people are captaining Alvarez. So yeah, it's one to consider. The effective ownership is going to be interesting to see, like how highly owned Alvarez is in terms of captaincy, because I feel like it is going to be quite high. But we'll have to see.
It is going to be split, I think. The captaincy maybe for Alvarez, especially the amount of transfer he's had in.
I still expect Salah to be the most captain player. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think I think Alvarez is going to be super highly captained as well. I think there's going to be a lot of managers that captain Alvarez, and it could go either way. Alvarez can go and get a hat trick or whatever, 2 goals and an assist. And then you look like a genius for bringing him in, or Salah goes and smashes Newcastle. So it's going to be interesting. Then there will be a decent swing, I think, this game week, whichever way you're on. I'm a big fan of Jota for the future. Yeah, definitely. I think Jota is one I'm actually looking at potentially as a Salah replacement, because we know Jota came on, played 10 minutes, got a goal, and he's going to be big on Klopp and Liverpool are going to rely on Jota for the goals with Salah gone to AFCON. We know there's Darwin there, we know there's Gakpo, there's Diaz, but Jota does seem like the one that you can consistently rely on for goals. And yeah, I am a Jota fan as well for sure. I'll probably miss the deadline tomorrow, says Harry. Sleep schedule all over the place. Sorry to hear that, Harry. If you can tune in tomorrow, do try. But if not, you can always watch it back, or we'll tweet our teams out anyway on Twitter.
Yeah.
Who are you benching, Jordan? Palmer or Darwin?
Oh, Palmer or Darwin? That's a tough one, because Palmer has Luton away. I mean, again, that's a fixture where you don't know what you're going to get because Luton are pretty good at home, and can they silence Chelsea? Because they have done to a few teams or stop them. But I've definitely been playing Darwin. I think I can't bench both. I think you have to play both. But if I had to pick, I'd
If you
probably
had to pick,
I'll bench Palmer as much as that's a hard decision to make.
yeah, it's a tough one. Obviously, Palmer's on penalties as well, so it's always tough to bench a penalty taker. But yeah, I would play Darwin personally. Jordan, thoughts on Hoyland's goal? I mean, was it Hoyland's first Premier League goal?
Yeah,
3-2 win.
Yeah, it was a nice goal from obviously that corner, and yeah, it just came into the hands of Hoyland. I think it came off Varane before he managed to obviously pop it in the goal, did clip the post. But yeah, nice first goal for Hoyland. It's been long in the waiting. I mean, considering he scored many in the other competitions, I think that's a nice first goal for Hoyland.
Is Jordan going to be on a wild card this time tomorrow? So, I mean, I think I think a lot of people are confused because a lot of people think that you've still got your first wild card, which isn't the case.
Yeah, I did use my wild card already, the first one. So this is for the second wild card that's coming for Gameweek 20. It's not the first one. I'm still holding on to. I wish I did have the first one, but unfortunately I don't. I've used that one already very early on in the season. So this is for my second one.
Yeah, you were planning on using your second wild card basically in Gameweek 21, right?
Yeah, that's when I found to use it.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. Matthew 2, hey, almost New Year. Hope you continue your great work. Wish you all the best. Thank you, Matthew, for the comment.
Thanks.
Really appreciate your words. Does the time they play ever influence your decisions? I'm contemplating playing Darwin last match on Monday rather than the Palmer first match at 12:30. Now, yeah, this is an interesting question because normally, we shouldn't really look at the times. It shouldn't affect it really. But there is something about that 12:30 kickoff that does sort of worry me sometimes because it's one of those, it's an early kickoff. Sometimes it's a flat atmosphere. It's a flat game. Sometimes it takes the players an hour to get going. So it does always worry me that 12:30, that dreaded 12:30 kickoff, and especially as a Liverpool fan, we've had a lot of 12:30 kickoffs, and it's always, yeah, I do worry personally about the first kickoff, the 12:30. What about you? Is that just a superstition?
Yeah. No, I think it does play a role. I think in matches because we saw with Sheffield United and Aston Villa that one when it was an early fixture, it was quite weird. It wasn't. I don't think it would be the same result if we had that fixture in the evening or the afternoon. I think that'd be a completely different outcome. But because it's around 12:30, I mean, it's around lunchtime normally for most of us. So I think it does play a part in it.
Yeah.
First matches being early on in that during the day because it is normally when players prefer to play 3 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah, it definitely makes a difference because you've seen players and managers complain. Klopp's multiple times has complained about the early kickoff and the, the turnaround, and it's tough on the players. So yeah, definitely should make a difference in preparation. SJ, guys, I'm happy to say that my current rank is 1,325. Thank you for your insights. Well,
very nice.
There you go, guys. SJ's killing it out there inside the top 2K. So you can't really get much better than that. So yeah, great rank, SJ, and obviously thank you as well for tuning into our streams. It's always nice chatting to you as well. Matthew 2, I have many problems. Could you rate my team, please? Yeah, for you, Matthew, we will rate your team. So I'm just going to actually pull up your team live while we do this. I'm going to take a look. I don't know if I could share my screen. What's the code again, Jordan?
789.
789.
7789.
Okay. Why? What's it doing here? It's not letting me do it. That is strange. Okay, so what was it? 77.
What, from the very beginning?
Yeah, please, because I can't see the screen.
789.
789.
Yeah, 7789.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay. So just taking a look at your team. So I'll just read it out for you guys. The team is Dubravka. The back three is Trent, Porro, Luka Dean. Midfield 4, Son, Douglas Luiz, Salah, Saka, Watkins, Semenyo, and Solanke. And then a big injuries on the bench, Romero, Lascelles, Palmer. I don't know how many free transfers you have, but I would be looking to take out Semenyo, probably. Bring in maybe an Alvarez if you can afford it if you've got money on the bench. That's what I'd be looking to do. So hopefully that's helped you, Matthew. But definitely maybe looking to bring Alvarez in potentially as well.
Oh, he's got 2 free transfers as well.
Yeah.
So
maybe Alvarez in, I think could work, or look to bring in. I mean, you got Palmer on the bench, I see. So you definitely play Palmer and then maybe bench Semenyo. So you could actually. I mean, Luka Dean has to go. I've seen you've got Luka Dean in your defense. He's injured, so I think I'd be doing Arsenal defender. I think you've got to prioritize potentially bringing in a Gabriel or someone like that to cover the Arsenal clean sheets. But yeah, do join us in the deadline stream as well, and we'll go into depth in your teams in that regard. I'll take one more question and then we'll wrap it up as well. Matthew also asking us how did it come to you both doing FPL content? We've not really answered this question before, but
good question.
I mean, I've been playing FPL for quite some years. Obviously, Jordan's been playing as well for a couple of years now. And it started off like I created a league and I told Jordan, let's play FPL, join my league, see if you could win, just as a competitive thing. And then, we found ourselves always talking about FPL, like on WhatsApp, we were messaging each other, transfer plans, strategies, just normal FPL chat. And we thought, you know what? Why don't we just talk about it on like a podcast and on like a YouTube video? So we thought, and then that's how it pretty much started, really, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And we enjoy talking about football in general. As Huss is a Liverpool fan and as a Man United fan, we do like to obviously watch matches together, especially with the clashes, Man United, Liverpool. And yeah, we talk a lot in general about football, and it kind of put 2 and 2 together, FPL and general chat on football, and we've got what we have right now.
Yep. So yeah, we're doing it for about 2 years now, and we'll just carry it on. And yeah, we only do it because you guys do watch and support us. So yeah, thanks to you guys as well for obviously with the channel. We hit a big milestone as well with the 1,000 subs recently as well. So yeah, thank you guys for that as well, and thank you guys for watching. And we are going to wrap the video up here. It's been quite a long stream. But yeah, this has been the team selection video for Game Week 20. We hope you guys have enjoyed the content. We are back tomorrow at 10 a.m. UK time for the deadline stream, I should say. Yep. So make sure you do tune in. We're going to do live transfers because we've both got, moves and ideas and things we've got to think about in the background because we know our plans can very much change. But yeah, I want to say a big thank you to you guys for watching. Obviously, it is the weekend now, so enjoy your weekend as well, guys. Anything else you want to add, Jordan?
Yeah, just thank you, obviously, you guys for watching. It's been always appreciated for you guys' support throughout this year, and Happy New Year, obviously, to those, because it is around the corner, only a few days away. But yeah, take care, and we'll see you for the deadline stream in the morning tomorrow. But until then, have a nice weekend.